I feel good, and I don't mean that like in a sort of braggadocious way. I feel good just mostly because of the guys that I've got around me and sort of our team. But we are trending well. It's interesting. You come out of the winter and it's slow, 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 and you're like, oh my gosh, are we going to get there? We're going to get there. And then, you know, a 2-week period will go by and you're like, oh, we made some pretty good gains there. And then the next week you made the same amount of gains and more. So I like our trajectory. We're trending well some 19, 20 days out. And I think we'll be in a good spot when the best players in the world come here. There have been a significant number of changes. Probably the biggest, I guess we started in 2021 changing grasses. We went from cool season bent grass tees and fairways to a warm season Xeon zoysiagrass surface there. That project started right after the girls' junior PGA Championship in July. And it encompassed not only the resurfacing, but we also did some things in terms of bunkers, added some drainage. We lengthened a few holes with some tees and some things like that. I almost had to kind of retrain myself to what we were trying to do. And what I mean by that is when we first put it in, you almost had to kind of think of it as a grow-in. So I kind of had to have that mentality to where we actually wanted to push a lot of growth. So we were fertilizing a little bit more. And you know, we struggled. We had seams everywhere. We had broadleaf weeds. We were mowing fairways. You and I were talking with rotary mowers. It wasn't awesome. And then, because in my mind I kept thinking, don't fertilize, right? Lean and mean's where we're going to be, but we really actually needed to push it. And now we've been able to sort of back off of that now that we've gotten ourselves established and starting to kind of fine tune it, starting to find mowing heights that work with us, starting to find cultural practices in the summertime that kind of reduce that thatch accumulation, organic matter later, that kind of thing. And we're getting there. We're getting better each year. So the previous championships that have been held here have been in the fall, in August, sort of late summer, even the Ryder Cup in September, and now we move it to May. So golf course plays different there. And then I mentioned the changes in the grasses. The zoysia undoubtedly is a firmer surface. We can just get it firmer than we could get the bent grass. And so I think when you're early in the season, rough, we can really kind of get it juiced up and going the way we want to create some difficulty. And then again, that playing surface being a little firmer to where balls maybe run out through the fairway, into bunkers, into that rough, is I think where you'll see some differences. Regardless of the year, regardless of what you're doing, at the end of the day, it's always about plant health. So I think that means root systems that are strong and durable. I don't necessarily need the deepest roots in the world, is the way I view it. It's more sort of mass is what I'm always kind of looking at. I think turgidity of the plant, you know, when you kind of rub your hand across it, that it's a strong plant. But if we get it set up that way, then we know we can kind of push it a little bit. BASF has been a tremendous supporter of Valhalla and myself and their products we use on this property across the board. Specifically, we talked about the zoysiagrass change right there. So one of the tricky things with zoysia is large patch, right? Zoysia is slow to recover. So if you get dinged up on it, you're going to kind of see it for a little while. So we've been working with them on their new product, Aramax. We made a fall application last year in conjunction with some other products. We kind of targeted 2 large patch applications in the fall and 2 again in the spring. We've made our first one of a different product, and the Aramax is coming in right before the championship, about 3 weeks out, to kind of set the stage. And so far, we've been really pleased with what we've seen. Gary Myers is our local rep, and it's interesting because Gary used to work here as an assistant, so he's got a strong tie to Valhalla, and I think once he saw this championship coming, he kind of had that nudging of like, hey, let's figure out how we can get involved. And so once he got that ball rolling, BASF has really stepped to the plate. You know, they provide quality products, and then they also provide just quality service, right? That's what I think you're looking for, that you know that you've got support behind what you're using. We want to know that it works, we want to know it's good, but on the back end, we want to know if something doesn't work, that we've got that support and we feel comfortable with that with BASF.